Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beauty and Brains, a podcast for first girls from first girls. I'm Shivani from FTC team Don't Blink 1441, and today I'm here with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Sandy Sturts. I'm from FRC Team 5348.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on today. So kind of just to kick it off, I just want to know like what got you into engineering originally? Like how'd you choose that career path?
Yeah. I really loved math and science all through grade school and middle school and high school. I also had two older brothers that went into engineering, and I saw them be successful and enjoy it. So I thought, why not? So yeah, I went to school to get my industrial engineering degree at the University of Minnesota Duluth.
Yeah, definitely. So, you started your career in engineering before, I believe, coming a teacher. So, what like inspired that switch?
Yeah. First of all, I loved being an engineer. I got to travel all over the world and meet a ton of different people. So I always tell my students I didn't leave that job because I didn't like it. I loved it. But I had little kids, and traveling all over the world wasn't conducive to having little kids. So when I had littles, I stayed home and was a stay-at-home mom for a while, 9, 10 years. And then I started helping out in the classroom where my kids were going to school. And I really enjoyed working with kids. And so I decided to go back to school and get my teaching license to teach math.
Yeah, definitely. So, kind of like now with teaching math, like how do you think your engineering background has played into the classroom setting?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot in trying to relate real world applications in the classroom. So, my experience as an engineer and problem solving out in the real world, I think, is super helpful when it comes to trying to convince kids that they will actually use this stuff in the real world when I'm teaching math. And
Yeah.
again, it's all about the problem solving, just understanding how to solve problems and the steps we take to solve problems. And yeah, so I think it's a really great connection. I also got to teach STEM for a few years in my math teaching career. So of course, I got to apply a lot of those engineering skills, problem solving skills in teaching STEM as well. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a great place. I get to use my engineering skills along with my love of teaching kids to have almost the perfect job.
Yeah, definitely. That's great to hear. And, kind of with that, like what do you think is like your favorite classroom memory if you could think of one?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. My favorite classroom memory. Um, Again, I've had the opportunity to teach STEM and math, and I'd say as a STEM teacher, it was always fun to have the kids come in and be excited about being there because we were doing project work and they could see the results pretty quickly of what they were learning. So that was always fun because as a math teacher, you don't always get that. They're not always excited to come into the math classroom. So definitely as a STEM teacher, having that experience. But I would say as a math teacher, again, just making connections with kids, getting to know them outside the classroom, doing things that they love to do, and then bringing those connections into the classroom. I think that's probably my favorite thing about teaching is just getting to know the kids and making those connections. Before I became a full-time teacher, I did a lot of subbing in the schools, and I love that, but it was always hard to just pop in for a day and not really get to know the kids very well. So teaching full-time gives me that opportunity to get to know them and understand them on another level, which is super helpful when you're trying to convince them that this stuff is important.
Yeah, definitely. And I also like when we run like camps for younger kids and their STEM camps, it's kind of cool seeing younger kids having like so much passion in something that I very much enjoy. And like I like seeing them go through the first program because first has done so much for me personally and continues to give a lot back to me. So it's like kind of cool seeing people interested or getting just into stuff that you're so passionate about 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think that my passion for all things STEM really comes out in the classroom. Um, I'm sure you're going to ask probably, but I'll jump ahead to my experience with first. So, way back when my kids were little, I had kids that did FLL. And so that was kind of my first experience with it. And then from that, I had a kid that went on to FRC. which led to me getting involved and eventually me coaching.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you kind of took my question right out of my mouth about first and getting into first. So do you think you had any advice for, parents or teachers that might want to get involved in first that make it like that might be a little bit intimidated at first?
Yeah. Again, I think I'm in a great position because I can teaching at the middle school level. I can kind of see those kids that would be a good fit for first programs. And what I always tell parents and students who might be interested is just give it a try. I think that there's a lot that people don't know about FLL and FRC, and you really don't fully comprehend all the different possibilities and all the different roles you can play on a team until you've kind of been a part of it. So that's kind of the big thing for me, anyway, in recruiting a variety of students is just encouraging them to give it a try and letting them know that there's a place for everyone, whether it's media or outreach or programming or wiring. There's just so many different opportunities that regardless of where your strengths are, there's a place for you on a first team.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that First as a program does a very good job of that, where it's like, even if you're not necessarily like math and science oriented, you can still have fun in First with like all their art themes and all like that kind of side of STEAM, definitely. And, a lot of people on my team aren't even necessarily interested in being engineers, they're interested in being doctors or, go into different types of fields that First might help you with, 100%. So, coaching an FRC team is definitely can be a lot sometimes, and it seems like your team has obviously been very successful. So, what do you think is your favorite, I would say, memory or kind of a I did it moment with your team?
Oh my gosh. So many, so many. I've only been, I'm an assistant coach. So I've only been doing that for a couple of years. But in those 2 years, yes, we've had crazy amount of success. When I started, it was just going to be a 1 year thing for me, but I fell in love with the whole idea, the whole process, the team, the people I work with. Um, so definitely changed things for me. Like I definitely see this as a long-term thing. But favorite memories, like I said, there's so many. Um, Again, we've qualified twice now in the last 2 years for, well, actually as a team, we've qualified 4 times, but as my term as an assistant coach, we've qualified for the last 2 years for Worlds, which was huge. This year, our ticket in was winning our first regional ever in team history. So that, I think that's probably one of my best moments or my favorite moments because we got to celebrate as a team. We had lots of families there supporting the team when we won that regional, and it just was such a great team, families, celebration. Um, yeah, but there are a lot of little things too. Our team loves to have fun. We love to play games and do things to try to keep it light, especially when things are getting really, really hard. And so, yeah, we've done a lot of outreach too. Like we rang the Salvation Army bell outside Walmart in December. We went golfing this summer. We went bowling last February. So, in addition to all the fun things we do at practice, we try to do things outside of practice too. To like I said, try to keep it light and do those team bonding things that are important as well. And again, getting to know the kids and making those connections with the kids and their families have been some of the greatest memories for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like not only just bonding within that, kind of STEM and robotics like environment, like I think my best memories from robotics come from after practice or right before competitions. Like although you would look back and think like, wow, I was really stressed. Instead, I'm thinking about like, wow, we were having a lot of fun and honestly, we ate some good food leading up to competition, so I can't
Yes.
complain, right?
Yep. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like how you said how your team won their first regional in team history, which is absolutely amazing. Congratulations.
Yep.
How do you think that maybe changed the morale or kind of the vibe of the team going into Worlds?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously that was a confidence builder. As you know, it's a really long season, so you kind of ride that roller coaster of winning a regional in March and then trying to prepare for Worlds in what end of April, early May. So again, that's part of the things that we do outside of practice is try to, keep that momentum, try to keep the kids kind of connected. Um, but yeah, like I said, definitely a confidence builder. And I think it kind of raised the bar for us now. We kind of, checked that box. And so, next step, yes, we qualify for Worlds. That's fantastic. But now how do we get drafted at Worlds, right? We're always looking for how do we get better as a team, as a robot, and, even as the other things too, like the outreach and trying to get more students involved and trying to get more females involved has been a big thing for us too. So yeah, winning the regional was great, but now I think we're looking to, all right, what's the next step? How do we get better?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like that's kind of what First Robotics is like all about. It's about like taking that step forward. Like when Don't Blink, like FTC, when we went to Worlds and we did very well, we got Inspired 2 in our division. We were like, okay, like now we made an impact how we felt within our small community, within robotics community. How do we make that impact bigger? And I think that taking that like next step and trying to continue and push yourself more is kind of what makes a good team great in a way, where it's like you're constantly looking for more things to improve on, more things to change, and like how to get better as a group, not as like an individual.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And kind of with being both a teacher and a coach, how might you help students who are maybe less confident going into a space like and struggle with that, trying and help like build their confidence up or help them believe that they're able to do it?
Yeah. A lot of things. So we have a summer program, so we help kind of develop skills in the summer. We kind of leave it like an open gym type format where, the kids can kind of tell us what they want to get better at, whether it's media or programming or CADing, whatever it is. The same thing with practice. I think we structure it that way as well. So we try really hard not to close any doors for any student that wants to do whatever. And so, as coaches, we're the first ones to admit that we don't know everything or very much. We're not the experts really at any of that stuff. But we will provide you with the resources for you to get better at what you want to get better at and hopefully give you a lot of exposure to a lot of different opportunities on the team. And then once you kind of figure out what you want to be good at, then we try to give you the resources to improve on those skills. So, I should also say we have a ton of mentors that kind of help develop those skills as well. I think this year we had 12. So we have lots of experts in different areas that help the kids develop the skills that they want to develop, which has been a huge part of the success we've had the last 2 years.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of a follow-up with that, specifically about females or girls who want to join robotics or in robotics, how do you help foster that kind of sense of growth on your team?
Yeah, that's obviously something I'm super, super passionate about. As an engineer, as a female that understands the opportunities that STEM presents to females, um, obviously bringing it into my classroom as much as I can. We also, as a team, or the females on our team, host a girls in engineering night. So we have stations where the younger kids, it's for grades 1 through 6, free, and they come in and they get to drive the team's robot and do other STEM activities with female STEM professionals from the community. Yeah, and then just me always kind of talking to girls, younger girls as they're coming into the middle school, kind of looking for those kiddos that might be a good fit for FRC and for FLL. But yeah, just constantly putting those opportunities in front of them and showing them that girls can do this too. Girls can program, girls can CAD, girls can wire, girls can build a robot. Yeah, and I honestly think it helps me being on the team for girls to see that, yep, girls can
Yeah.
do this too. So yeah, it's exciting.
Definitely. And like I also feel like putting the opportunity in front of them is great because sometimes people don't realize that it's there. I think that first is definitely very like although we are allowed within the community, sometimes coming into a bigger high school, you might not even realize that your high school has a robotics team. So giving them that opportunity kind of right in front of their face is good and giving them a chance if they would like to join and kind of see how it goes. And that girls in engineering night is a wonderful idea. That's like seems like a lot of fun and definitely very encouraging to younger girls, definitely.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to make connections with those younger girls. And yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to have the girls on our team be part of that too, to kind of encourage those younger kiddos to join.
Yeah, definitely. And now going a little bit into your own experience, has there been like any challenges that you might have faced because you are a woman in a STEM or a male-dominated field, and like how you came over those and what you learned from them?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely faced those through my whole career. Like in college and my first job, I was definitely a minority. So it's always a challenge to demonstrate your skills and prove your worth. Um, but again, I've been really fortunate to be surrounded by people that support me and help me learn. Yeah, so there's definitely been challenges, but again, I think I've been fortunate to be surrounded by people along the way, mentors, coaches, fellow teachers that have encouraged me to do more and to learn. And I mean, I think I always bring it on myself too. If I am feeling inadequate about a certain, like whether it's coding or wiring or CADing or whatever, I take it upon myself to try to get better at that, to understand that more. So it really falls on to me to improve my skills so I can help the team in any way possible. But yeah, I have a great support system, so that helps as well.
Yeah, definitely. And, kind of with that support system and giving that to girls on their team, like, what do you think is maybe a skill or an experience that students gain through FIRST Robotics that they couldn't gain through a regular classroom?
Yeah. I think it's really about the problem solving. Again, the mentors, the coaches on the team, we don't have all the answers, and we really pride ourselves in letting the kids figure things out. So yeah, whether it's a wiring issue or mechanical issue, um, we really encourage the kids to problem solve, to do the steps, to figure it out. And maybe it's not the best answer, maybe it's not the best robot, but it's something they can be proud of because they developed it, they solved the problem. Yeah, really just turning it over to them and letting them figure things out, I think is huge. Especially we feel like on our team, just letting the kids really be the problem solvers. We're there to help with resources, but we really let them figure things out, which is really fun to see.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And I also think that like I personally have learned many skills through first that I don't think I would have learned in a classroom. Like a lot of them being definitely a lot of teamwork in a way where it's like everybody can be right in the room, but although only one person can, continue with their idea. And it's being able to compromise that and being able to be okay with that or, being on the field like if somebody's disagreeing with you, it's okay. Like to just you guys can move on together as a team because at the end of the day everybody wants what's best for the team. So I think like first has given me that team scenario where I can learn to compromise sometimes even though I'm very hard-headed in a way.
Well, and those are such good real world applications, right? Like that's the real world. You're going to have to compromise. Everyone's going to have ideas. You're going to have limited time, limited resources. These are such great real world scenarios for people that, again, I think more than any other activity that we have in school, this provides you with skills that you can use in the future. Is my feeling anyway. For example, like we qualified for state this year, and we had a very small window to really make any improvements. But the team decided to build a blocker on our robot so we could block shots. So in like one Saturday, they sat down, they brainstormed ideas, they came up with a solution that they thought was feasible to get done in like 7 or 8 hours. And they worked those 7, 8, 9 hours to get it done. It maybe wasn't the best solution, but it was the best they could do in that day. And those things happen all the time, right? Where we have to make compromises based on our skills and the resources we have available. But again, that's real world. That's what real world
Yeah.
engineers do.
And I think like that time aspect also makes it as real as possible because although your team at its full potential could do 100% with that time that you are given and the time crunch, maybe you can only get to 80 and you just
Right.
have to be, okay with that because sometimes time-wise things don't work out, like for states in between worlds, like I think that is the biggest crunch time and it's so stressful. So sometimes compromising on things to, focus on other areas is definitely needed, although it might not be wanted.
Right. Right. Yeah. Sounds like you have experience with that as well.
Yeah. And so kind of going back into, your personal career. So as a woman with an engineering background, is there any advice you would give to girls who seem interested in STEM and but might not see themselves represented?
Right. Um, yeah, I think again, get out there and get those experiences. Another thing that we like to do with the team is visit companies, sponsors, and so we go out and we see women doing these fantastic STEM jobs, right? Getting out there and seeing women doing design work, seeing women doing manufacturing work, seeing women be engineers, and I would say one of the many benefits of having a ton of sponsors is that we do give our kids exposure to a lot of different careers and a lot of different people and women in STEM careers. And so they can see those women in action. So, yeah, we've had some great relationships with some sponsors that have really shown our team all the opportunities that are out there for men and women in engineering and STEM
Yeah.
fields.
Definitely. And I think that connects into the real world aspect that First likes to talk about, like seeing, going in and visiting industries, for outreach, and seeing people who might like seeing women in STEM working there is definitely very encouraging. Also, like for my FTC team, we do have a female coach. So anytime she talks about her career and stuff that she like did when before robotics is just like encouraging to hear where in a way where it's like maybe I can do that too. And I think having a female coach for a high school robotics team specifically is very helpful in that way, where it kind of gives you a door opening to many lessons learned without having to go through them 100%.
Right. And we have just kind of a small group of females right now on the team. It's definitely growing every year. But it's kind of a nice, tight knit group. Like we do things together. We made these hats. Like we do things specifically for the girls to kind of have that bond. So we have each other's back. And obviously, we're all together. The whole team does things together. But the girls do bond together, and that we are we are a small group, and so we kind of have to have each other's back in addition to helping the team where we can. So yeah, I'm excited about growing that female population in our first programs.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like with our FTC team, we've always kind of been split 50-50 in between girls and boys, which has been great, but also we wanted to expand the amount of girls on the technical side rather than on the outreach side. And we've definitely been working towards that. And I think these past 2 years have been very successful in that way, where we've been seeing a lot more girls kind of putting themselves forward, trying out for drive team, although they might not see themselves on it, or just even walking into the shop at any given moment to kind of see and observe. I think observing is definitely the best way to learn. And that inclusion factor might also come from the guys, but it also comes from a girl who feels supported enough to push herself.
Yeah, and I have to go back to our summer program. We've done, for instance, we bought new swerve drives this past spring, and so that was the thing we did that first night. Is we had 6 swerve drives, and we had a group of very young girls put to assemble those swerve drives, and then we took some girls to the shop to do some cutting. And so, yeah, you're right. Just giving those opportunities, especially in I feel like that low pressure environment, kind
Mhm.
of that off season, just exposing them to some of those more mechanical things and showing them that, yeah, I mean, girls can do this too. There's no reason why a female can't assemble a swerve drive. And
Yeah,
I did it too. They have to see, they have to see me trying it too. So, yeah.
definitely. So, as we kind of come to the end of our time, I do have one final question for you. And if you had to give advice to every or any student entering STEM, maybe not even just specifically for robotics, what would it be?
Great question. I would say, I would say, explore many opportunities, right? Like it's not always easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Um, but explore those opportunities. Make sure you understand what they're about, because I think if you're passionate about STEM, you're going to find something that fits your talents and your gifts. And so, yeah, just keep your mind open and explore all the different opportunities that STEM careers have to offer.
Yeah, definitely. I think that going into robotics doesn't necessarily mean you're going to continue your career in robotics, and it's kind of keeping that open-mindedness definitely too with like maybe I'm just going to try this program out. Maybe it'll be a year, maybe it'll be 4 years, and it's just kind of being open to it, definitely.
Yep,
So we
agreed.
are coming, unfortunately, to the end of our time, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me today, and the insight that you gave is definitely very wonderful. And congratulations to your team on an amazing season. That's amazing to hear. Going to and winning regionals is definitely like an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course. And to the viewers, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Beauty and Brains. I will see you next Sunday. Thank you.